Starting off in the top right hand side, our Red Terran player is SpeCial. First match from him here in the Douyu Cup Group D. I have not seen him play a series yet. He'll be playing the majority of his matches tomorrow, as we do have in the bottom left hand side the Blue Protoss player Trap. We know that he's had a great day and a great event so far. We'll see if he can keep it up as he goes into a bit of a different matchup, because we've seen only PvP from him up until now, so this one will be a little bit of something different. Racks dropping down from SpeCial here in the front. We do see an SCV popping out. Going to go to the side. We'll build a second gas in a moment. So proxies the racks on the map. Not a super crazy proxy per se. More like hides the racks on the map, I think, is a better way of saying it, right? So kind of hiding that out in the front. As you see this probe continuing up the top side. Moving on through. Let's probe into this main, looking to see what's up. Cybernetics on the way from Trap in the main base as well. We do see just a Reaper from SpeCial continuing to build. Zealots on the way out, the orbital command already coming up into the main, and obviously Trap is here just kind of patrolling around. He wants to see this. He wants to see the factory building at home. And he actually blocks the depot there for a moment. But yeah, he wants to make sure the factory builds at home, and I don't think he minds staying in the main base. Reaper has to pull back to get rid of that probe if you want to deny seeing what comes up next on the factory. So that obviously buys you time where the Reaper's not going across the map. If the Reaper does come back home, it immediately lets you know, now, boom, I know exactly when that Reaper was made. I know how close it is to your base, more or less. So that's pretty good info. Now, Trap actually going to build a shield battery in the mineral line, which means he's just going to go across the map. He's not going to leave his units back at home as this Nexus sets up on the natural. He's just going to go, and really look to apply some pressure here against SpeCial in the early stages. Now, this Reaper going to run to the Stalker, and that does buy a little bit of time, because shots on the Reaper will regenerate. Now, a Hellion and a third Reaper in production, so really looking to make sure he's got the numbers to shut this down, not trying to tech up or do anything too adventurous there. Obviously, we maybe maybe Trap tries to deny this natural, but there's two Reapers already here, and this Zealot is kind of on its own. Here comes the Stalker to show up and help, but if the Hellion here too, this is not really much of a contest, because, well, especially the Stalker obviously cannot actually outrun these units, so the best the Stalker can do is kind of turn and try and push it back. The next Reaper about to show up. Oh, the line of sight blocker, a bit weird for SpeCial there for a moment. He will back off. I think getting the Zeld already is great for him. The Adept just makes it a little funky trying to continue. The Adept commits to the Shade. He's just going to pop the Adept back. Oh, great play. Pushes the Adept back. Will get the Stalker kill. Hasn't lost a unit just yet, by the way. SpeCial. The Reaper, one of them goes down. He loses a Reaper for all three of the Protoss units. The micro was spectacular. It's everything you want it to be in a little situation like that. Absolutely fantastic as the Reapers and the Hellion will head on down to the bottom side. So down at the bottom they go. Armory sent up from SpeCial in the main. And we have our Hellions and the Reapers showing up. A couple of probes already picked up here. We'll chase. The probes taking some hits as well. The Hellion does die. Just seeing the Armory of SpeCial on the way up in the main base now, so building into the Armory is the next step of this, but a few probes getting killed, and I love the Armory. Gonna go for these Widow Mines, and if off of such a weird opener as well, right? Definitely one that could work out, get something done, and Armory about to pop up. There is the first Medivac already coming across. Those Widow Mines will be hitting pretty quickly. Yeah, Robo's about to finish, but then you still have to get the Observer up, right? So, as this first Medivac goes down, Widow Mine will unburrow, reburrow, and maybe an extra kill. He's trying to hide the fact that these are invisible, so trying to play a game where Trap maybe doesn't quite realize, but Trap did pay attention as the next Medivac heads out onto the map for the next stage of this. come down here. A couple of pros being picked up, and the Reaper's just showing up. And SpeCial's just been all over Trap this game so far. 7 workers killed. SpeCial has just been completely the driving force of this game number 1. And in fact, brings Widow Mines behind us natural, ready to dive in onto this again, I'd imagine. As you do see the Reapers of SpeCial. They're going to hop up for the main, but there's obviously a wall off there, so there's only so much you can do. He'll pick away at the pylon. He knew he could get an extra shot in the medevac before he had to deal with that. There was Blink available, so that's a misplay there. As the Reaper's trying to get a little bit more done. Good cleaning up overall by Trap, but it has just been SpeCial being in different locations that's found a probe here, a probe there, before he's being cleaned out. And that has naturally become the issue in the last little while. The extra racks are on the way, the engineering base building, and there's a lot of Marines queued up from SpeCial, maybe a bit of a float of money for a little while. That's a lot of Marines queued up, actually. Obviously now into the extra racks. Has got a 3rd CC, so economically speaking, he's in a really good position. But he does have just the 3rd CC up and running. He's got that to build a lot of extra SCVs from. This tank of SpeCial sets up in the natural, as we do have. Racks continue to get going. +1 attack and +1 armor on the way. Reactor will build on the starport in the main base. Sorry, I got a bit confused there. I couldn't see the starport. It's like, it is there though. Just didn't want to finish my sentence without double checking, as we'll see SpeCial. But he's going to move to the 3rd. He does have a tank or 2 to help him defend that. It is maybe the weaker position. Until he gets those bio upgrades, definitely a little bit concerning. You know, with Blink Stalkers on the map, but that's what the tanks are for. Really help lock this position down so the Marines can survive even if they don't have stim. Really means if you're going to go for it as Trap, you're really committed to going for it. You don't just prod and poke and pick up a kill here and there. So yeah, and Trap's not really set up to just straight up go for it as he goes into that cost of production with the Robo Bay in play. SpeCial scans the natural, so he gets a gas count. He doesn't get to see the Robo Bay in the main base though. So still missing a bit of info there. Army setting up between the bases, the Raven overhead, and we do have the rest of these upgrades continuing through. Brigades building from Trappers. You can see the Colossus up to the top side, a few Stalkers, a couple of Sentries will join up with this as well. There's all of these gates going down right now. The Bio Army SpeCial goes out. Tanks will siege. Scans out down on the natural expansion. Really wants to keep an eye on this natural. We'll see the Colossus now. Interesting. I wonder why he's scanning the natural compared to anywhere else. I wonder if there's like a specific reason of what he's trying to see. And now he scans the main. He's obviously not looking for the army, because those would not be places you scan for the army. I guess he's just trying to get a read on the gateway count and so on. I mean, that's so hard because the gateways are spread all over the place. Yeah, there's a tough one. Alright, well, 2 Widow Mines are in this medevac, and they are going to be the lead in charge as they unload to this 3rd base mineral line. Stalkers get here, and they actually get a medevac that's flying ahead of the rest. Widow Mine gets 4 workers. The one in the natural should get burrowed before the oh no. And Colossus are so OP. Why do they attack so quickly? That's insane. Absolutely crazy. Okay, well, this Widow Mine gets 4 probes. Do you see the rest of SpeCial's army, though? Pushing down the left. He's going to load 2 medevacs already to get started. But there are pylons on the upper left-hand side to already kind of cover the entryway. So it will not be Trap unaware to that. He will see it coming in. He sees it right now. SpeCial trying to scan to spot where the army is. Well, the army's actually quite far back, but so is his own. And back to pick up reinforcements as the battery overcharge drops to begin. Gonna go straight in, target down that battery. Widow Mine's burrowed up and target firing a Stalker in amongst this. The good blink away, though, will save those Stalkers. Now the army, he wanted to go into the Nexus, and you know what? He probably could have killed it. But then he saw the Warpers, and he was like, ooh, that's a nice pick off too. Yeah, there was a few Zealots on this 4th base. They could have maybe slowed it down, but I think you can just sit and eat 4 Zealots of damage, kill this base, and then back away, right? So a very different approach. but one which would have been probably just as successful, as we do see our medevacs all the way back up to the top. Command center from SpeCial will lift off and move to the 12 o'clock position. This bio army getting set to go, as we do see Zealot, Stalkers, Colossi, and Sentries all continuing to build. Vikings continuing up as well. I mean, this is Trap's push. Also get something done. 3 Colossus, +2 about to be done. It's that timing just before everything, you start going to your next tech switch. But CMP was okay. No one had shockwaves here, so it's limited in terms of how large it can be. The Vikings doing what they can. I feel like there's not enough zealots to keep this going. The tanks maybe could have targeted by the Colossus. They move forward a little bit there. He will chase here, SpeCial. Lost 19 SCVs. The zealots trying to get rid of this planetary. More prison saves the Colossi as well. Well, Travel loses a good chunk of army, but SpeCial losing 21 SCVs. He might be able to just unsiege and go across the map, go on a counter-attack. Might be successful, especially looking at the 2-2 versus just +2 upgrades. It's actually got a lot of potential in it. SpeCial scans. A couple of tanks will unsiege. Army of Trap around the top side. These odds around the right, because you have our Stalkers coming to the top, the Bio Army pushing forward. Stalkers going down, big EMP. Colossus has to get lifted up. Sentries will get taken down here as well. The Vikings actually getting a kill. The Zealots on the right. SCVs trying to mess up the AI. Okay, they're not doing very well. They are going to fall. This does put Trap, or SpeCial, a bit more kind of focus on dealing damage across the map. He's going to get the Vikings on the Prism. He kills the Colossus in it. Oh my god, I saw it coming, honestly, from a mile away. The Vikings are chasing. The Prism has to turn at some point, and Trap was not paying attention. 14 SCVs down, but I think SpeCial just has enough to make this work, and he will continue to make his way across the map. This is coming through, picking their way through the gate rocks already. The extra Liberators are in production. Spread it back, brings the tanks around the side. Doesn't quite get the rocks just yet. The EMPs go down, and maybe GG as SpeCial just has a little bit too much, and Trap is not going to be able to hold on. Obviously lost a lot trying to make these fights happen, and despite the SCV damage, SpeCial rebuilt from that with ease. Second map, and leading the series is our Red Terran player in the bottom left side. It's SpeCial, looking good so far. Top right, Blue Protoss is Trap to get into our second game here. A couple of quick shout outs just as the game gets going. Thank you very much, BBB dude, for the 6-month resub on the Twitch Prime. Game Blouses 1978, fresh new subscription on the Twitch Prime. Thank you so much. Mog the Cats for this 5-month Twitch Prime resub. Says another day of great StarCraft with Wardy. Thanks for all you do for the community. Thank you for the resub. And another 6-month also Twitch Prime sub from Kylo X5B. Sorry, Cali OX5B. Sorry for the extended chat. I thought there was a couple more than I thought there was. Thank you very much. Much appreciated as we get this up and running into play. See what's going to happen as that probe just going to nibble up this depot. We're going to be on the way out. Depot coming through. Gonna pop in just a few moments. Trap goes out up the left-hand side. SpeCial's Reaper will continue across the map then. Gonna hop up into that main base. Twilight Council still building here. Twilight Council isn't going to be the initial choice, obviously. Trap, very standard there, likely to go into that blink. Obviously, from the get-go here, this time, SpeCial does not have any racks on the map or anything along those lines. Reaper, 2 Reapers, and the Hellion up the left is... Let's turn around and get this probe. That probe gets picked off as well. There's our blink coming up on the Twilight Council. SpeCial will continue to the top right-hand side. Adept, Stalker. Out the front of the natural here. Probe still building. And the 2 Reapers are going to go into the main and just go for some harass, but that's where the shield battery will come into use. Helps protect you from this kind of stuff as well. Pushed away, Hellion gets into the natural. I mean, the good news is here that you get a good scout, but it's not deep enough. You didn't get to see the Twilight, so SpeCial still a bit blind. Obviously, the 2 Reapers is something a little bit different and unique in TvP. Is he going to get away with the units alive? That's nice. Good grenades. I've got to say, SpeCial's grenade placement so far has been pretty fantastic. He's been very much so on top of that as the fusion core of SpeCial goes into the back of the main base. So gets that fusion core started. Blink continuing to Chrono Boost out, and again, the Reaper get the probe. Doesn't quite get there, though. As you will see, Siege Tank still just on the way. This gateway going to be popping up from Trap in a few moments. Mind's going to get a couple of probes, so 2 probes go down. This little catch there as our fusion core will not be long until finishing. So waiting for our fusion core to complete. Just going to see the 3rd Nexus continuing in. There's a gateway from Trap on the natural. Couple extra Marines of SpeCial continuing through. The tank of SpeCial is still set up on that high ground. A couple of Widow Mines will make their way up around the top. Tank coming into play. The Nexus going to be finishing shortly. Observer about to pop out. Yeah, Trap just feeling pretty comfortable going to 3 bases here now. Let's see what SpeCial can do. This time, Widow Mines are not accompanied by the Armory, but there is that fusion core for the BC follow-up. Definitely making this a little bit different than what you usually see in TvP, but we have seen BC setups in TvP before, specifically on Eternal Empire. A lot of dead airspace. I imagine it would also work on Death Aura, but being able to leave these BCs over here, and unless you open Stargate, you then can't chase them down. They can just sit there and consistently... The idea with everything basically in TvP, which is, can you keep the Protoss units at home so you can get your attacks across the map very easily? And obviously this BC is a very expensive way of doing that, but it will do that. As a 3rd CC sets up, and I imagine he will... do we see mech behind this? Do we see bio? Extra gas, it looks like it is going to be mech. So you have seen a few of these builds that have been into bio actually, but... looks as though SpeCial wants to play mech here. Not too crazy. Eternal Empire is probably the best mech map for TvP. Just because of the way the base is set up and the number of bases you get up at a certain time. These Widow Mines will burrow. Only one of them gets burrowed though. And what is there even in range? 1 probe goes down. Stalkers clean up otherwise. Well, here comes the push across the map as the BC is now teleported into the natural. These Stalkers are kind of forgotten about with the BC across the map having to be dealt with. Like I say, it allows you to get this push up the map and into position already. As BC took a bit of a beating, but yeah, you kill off a Stalker over here. Trap, when he gets to the high ground, it looks like SpeCial will just back away. No SCVs left to build bunkers with. He's actually going to siege the tank to try and get the Stalkers. He gets 2 of them. Good siege, good setup. Good kill in all honesty. Very nicely done as our Marine tank army continues back home. The Stalkers coming across. Scan on an observer as well. Can these Stalkers... whoa, they blink in, but the army's still coming in from the top side. So Trap loses a bunch of Stalkers. Actually turns into a pretty good catch there from SpeCial. Turns into a really good catch, doesn't it? That's nicely done. Is just going to be seeing the Marines, the tanks still set up down the bottom. A few extra gates from Trap in the main base as well. A 4th Nexus building up on top. PC has teleported home so it can get repaired. Obviously, we've got the other one, which is here. teleport across the map, and actually starting to get some probes, going to force the recall, so again, takes away the pressure from the Terran player. And allow, keeps the pros player at home. So these BCs, they are an investment, but they are so far worthwhile investment. Even getting a few probe kills on top of this. I actually love this opening from SpeCial. I feel like this is going into a really great setup for him right now. Right? It feels like this is going really well, but if there's one player who's really good at playing against mech in PvT, I really feel it's Trap. I've seen if I had to pick out some of the TvP mech games of this year, probably be a lot of them featuring Trap on the defensive side of it, because he has just played so many great ones against TY and WSG qualifiers, IEM qualifiers. He played some great ones. He's just so good at keeping up the pressure, attacking from multiple sides, and knowing when to try and bust and when not to. Now, the BCs are definitely a bit of a fresh take on mech in TvP. That's something you don't see every game. Warp Prism just gets out of range. He'll line up the Yamato for it in the end. Didn't want to use it if he didn't have to. Would rather obviously teleport across the map and then use the Yamatos offensively. SpeCial teleports home as well, so just doesn't waste any time. The Stalkers did blink in for it as well. Cannon up on the 12 o'clock, and we will see the Stalkers still out into the center. We do see the BCs. Some SpeCial. Also getting ready to go. As our army of Trap sets up on the right-hand side. Well, again, a couple of Stargates still building. The factories coming through. +2 attack, +1 armor. Continuing to play as our robo facility sets up on the natural expansions. Gets that robotics facility started already. And it's obviously Trap saying, right, let's play the Stargates, let's play the late game S-Toss style. It is, if you can get to it, one of the very powerful things against this mech army. Usually the issue is getting to it, but yeah, I mean, you probably start to get to it here as Trap, but it's not the first few units you need. You need to kind of mass up on it, and that's absolutely when it becomes really difficult. He's back on the bottom side. Well, Trap is still out the front, holding this watchtower for the moment. We'll see, by taking an aggressive position makes it difficult for SpeCial to move across the map aggressively himself when his army starts to get to that point where he might want to. Tempest building in the natural expansion. +2 attack, +1 air weapons, all of this coming through. This army going to loop around the bottom side. Lots of shots already onto these SCVs. Not a lot being done. 5 SCVs down, 6 SCVs down. Hellbats continue to drop. On the top left, these BCs have teleported up. Gets a cancel on base number 6. Obviously, that's kind of necessary when you're fighting for base number 4 here as SpeCial still. So we kind of do need that. Suddenly, though, you've got Zaz and Stalkers in the natural. This army on the high ground still, and he's running to the third base too. These BCs are doing damage. Are they doing enough damage? Recall home. Already recall to. I don't know at the moment. He recalled to the 12 o'clock, and so SpeCial flew across or teleported across the natural. He actually gets a couple Tempests already. As they spawn, he kills 2 Tempests. I mean, that's amazing. Now he's starting to get a lot of probes to make up for the SCVs. He's losing across the map as well. Unfortunately, this might be it for the BCs. One of them does go down. The other 2 can maybe try and fly back home, but they are going to be huntable by Tempest and huntable by those Stalkers as well. Raven gets an interference matrix. The Cyclone gets a lock on. You know, Macfield Cyclones are really good against Tempest. Look at the damage they deal. He's going to get 2 of the Tempest. The BCs are going to show up to this fight. I'm not even sure they're too worried right now. The Stalkers blink in underneath, but that's damage on the BCs. That's not on the main mech army. Oh man, this is a mess of a fight. Is now what have we got left over at the end? A few Cyclones, a few Stalkers. These tanks might want to see each other. That one Colossus. Oh man, this Tempest just flies in to its death as well. I mean, the BCs have gone down, so do you want to keep building Tempest? Is that your goal now? Not even sure. Trap goes back through into the middle. Zealots will join with the Stalkers and the Colossus. It's picking off the Zealot there. We just see the rest of this coming through. Tanks, Cyclones, continuing across. What can be taken next? Do you feel like SpeCial's army obviously struggling a little bit to rebuild? He did take more SEV damage and he took it that little bit earlier. And obviously he was only on 4 bases. Trap's been on 5, so rebuilding the workers is easier for Trap also. Zod, Stalker, Tempest, all coming through on that left-hand side. We do see the couple of Hellions going through, 4 probes going down. Zod gets taken down. Vikings are going to chase this War Prism. They will get it. I mean, need to clean up this pressure, otherwise you're in trouble. Trap looking for a fight. He's going to find a lot of these tanks in the middle. The Zod's going to make very short work of those tanks once they get on top, and SpeCial's army looks like it's falling apart a little bit here. The Vikings come through, will go for the Tempest, but I'm not sure if there's just a few too many anyway with the support of the Stalkers. Well, the Thors, though, getting rid of some of these Immortals to the end. Can the Thors turn onto the Tempest and do well enough here? One of the Thors nearly goes down. And there's 4 Tempests up, and there's just not enough anti-air right now from SpeCial in the slightest. He's going to be in some trouble as these Tempests continue to drop very slowly, and it's going to be GG. Trap is going to take a second game, will tie us up, and take us to a 3rd map. Decide a map. Nice large one once again. It's mechable. It is mechable, but is it something you... Is it mechable in TvP, I guess, is a better question, right? You can see mech on this map all the time in TvC, and that's maybe more so because it's A, good for mech, but B, it's just so much worse for bio as well. That doesn't ring true as much in TvP. We'll talk about it in a moment. SpeCial on the top right-hand side, the red Terran. Oh, on the left, blue Protoss is Trap. Yeah, absolutely, right? It's that weird scenario where, you know, in TvZ, it's a bad map for TvC bio because it's just so large. You keep on pushing on to keep up the pressure constantly, but you don't need that constant pressure in TvP bio. It's very drop focused. You know, you don't have to just rally push in one direction like you do versus Zerg, so it's a very different way it plays out. So bio's not bad on this map. In fact, it's quite great for going everywhere and pulling your opponent apart. But and it comes back to, can you mech on this map too? And yeah, you can. The big thing on this map, I think, is that when you go 3 base, 4 base, this 4 base engageable from 2 sides is amazing for the pros to break in. You can also run up here. And I really feel like that means you're just so vulnerable to being broken on 4 bases. Whereas on Eternal Empire, it's a little tougher to do that because your opponent basically only has... It's very different, you know, it's very easy for your opponent to get here with some units here and maybe units here. On Eternal Empire, that doesn't happen on the 4th base from as many directions, so... And then also, once you get to 4 bases here, the 5th base is a bit further out once again. And it keeps that idea of if they just mass gateway unit you, can they not just break you if you play mech? Whereas on Eternal, your 5th base is just in front of, or behind your 4th base, so you kind of defend one, it's very easy to rotate to defend the other, you don't get more spread out, really. Very similar setup to game number 1, where it is going to be the multiple Reapers off the somewhat proxied racks. The probe stays in the main base. Let's going to see our factory about to finish in the main. SpeCial's Reaper going to continue down the bottom left then. We do have warp gates starting up on the side of court. Keep it going through. Nexus about to finish up. And that's Stargate. Building in the main. Just going to see how Stalker trying to come forward. Reaper gets pushed back. Starport coming through, going to finish shortly. Command center on that natural, and just seeing the Reaper of Special continuing out around the left side. Starport is about to complete, so Starport finishing up in a few moments to give us that follow-up. It is going to be a Tech Lab. Reactor and the Hellions here. It's a different follow-up to what we saw last game when he opened with this couple of Reapers, right? Last time with a couple of Reapers with a little bit of a proxy play, he did end up... Well, he got put under pressure, but he went for that Widow Mine drop follow-up, the Armory. Very different approach to this game number 3 now. He's just going to go into a Cloak Banshee to start even. So special with the Cloak for the Banshees. Not a bad way to get going. As Reaper pulls back just a little bit. Hellions and Reapers all joining up together. A bit of a dive through, and they are going to get in here. Super battery to heal as much as possible. And with some Phoenix, you can lift up some of the Hellions, right? And if you can lift up the Hellions, you can take away some of that one-shot potential. Battery in the main base as well. Is there enough power for you from Special to really kill anything? 4 workers killed is... You're looking for more, right? You're absolutely looking for more. I mean, you can also argue that the Phoenix have used all of their energy defending this, so they can't harass. I mean, that is a positive, don't get me wrong, but is it enough? Banshee number 1, unlikely to do much either. The only good news is I guess you did drain this battery of a lot of energy, so Banshee may be more likely to deal damage there than usual. Tank's going to lift, SCVs will come in, repair their siege tank up, so keeping that alive, and you have the Banshee continue to build on the main. Cyclone gets a few shots off, pushes the Phoenix away. Again, this Banshee is out, moving down the right side. Nexus on the 3rd base. Let's get that 3rd Nexus up and running. Stalkers and Adept. All of this pulling back to the natural as well, and I was going to see battery just healing up a little bit. He did wait for the 2 Banshees. Imagine he went with 1 Banshee. How much shield battery energy would there have been? It would have hit a long time ago now, right? So I think he would have been able to get damage done. Especially when the Phoenix were going across the map. But hard for him to know where those Phoenix are. I wonder if he wants to wait with these Banshees like... I mean, this Phoenix is patrolling, so it will see them. Unless they cloak in. I mean, if you cloak in, you're just going in. You're just going to commit for it, right? Yeah, Trap saw the Tech Lab on a Starport as well. So I think he's got a pretty good idea. Just thinking if you can wait until the Phoenix show themselves on the other side of the map again. But I think it just takes too long. These Banshees will still get 7 or 8 workers if they micro correctly here. You know, it just takes that long for the Phoenix to show up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it shut down. So 8 workers it will be. He even had a little miss micro there, but it was still okay. So 8 workers killed. Not a bad follow-up, but of course... These are a lot of units you're trading out throughout the entire game. First the Hellions and Reapers, now the Banshees. It's units you're trading out for some probe damage, and that generally leaves you weak, you know, on the ground or in an army in terms of a follow-up. Cyclones get a lock on. Oracle and the Phoenix get pushed away. And the Oracles back down the bottom. Temple Archives is building up in the main base. But you see Adepts and Stalkers out around the center. Cyclone gets a lock on, pushes it back. Up a couple of the SCV kills. Cyclone locked onto the Adept, pushing it away. Siege tank here in the main going to be picked up in a moment, so Phoenix getting damage done, right? And this goes into Bio as the next step. Trap. I mean, I feel like Bio is a great way to follow up after doing good damage like this early. And now you get onto the map as special, and you come across and, you know, you see these Phoenix, which are No, they're good at harassing. Are they going to be great at shutting down this army, pushing across the map? That's a whole new question. Now, it looks as though before any attack happens, there will at least be Storm up and running. Robo facility still coming through. The Phoenix here lifts up a couple of Widow Mines. Nice trade outs there. 2 of the units going down pretty quickly. Armory on the 3rd base. So getting that armory up. More depots just out in the front then. So again, those depots up and running. We do have the blink on the Twilight Council. Yeah, I mean, obviously you look at this kind of from Trap. He did go charge first. He was definitely afraid of dying to a big bio follow-up, right? That's what charge is meant to do for you. It saves you from those bio attacks. It's much better defensively, but you give up a lot of map control for it. That said, he had the Phoenix, so he didn't need to create map control with Blink Stalkers. So he didn't need that, so the charge first made a lot of sense. That's probably why SpeCial couldn't find a way to push out any earlier in this game so far. Now here we stand. Templar's ready to drop some storms here. SpeCial has to be careful. Fights like this, I mean, he's got the rest of his army still trailing along. Ghost Academy's on the way, but definitely needs these ghosts, I think, to start fighting armies like this. I wonder if Trap can do anything. Prism about to pop, Blink and +2 armor coming. I wonder if Trap can do something before ghosts hit the map to get across and to be successfully aggressive himself. So I wouldn't mind drop starts with 5 worker kills, and next one will get burrowed as well, and that's going to be a couple more probes. 3 more probes and a Stalker, I think, or was it just Splash on the Stalkers? Oh, now he's going to kill a High Templar. That's worthwhile. And back around the bottom. Bio units coming through. And drop around. Couple Phoenix here going to go for that medevac as well. Rest of the bio from SpeCial coming through. Iron loading into the main base. Storm's going down. A lot of the Marine Marauder being picked away at here. Stalkers continue to fight. Couple of these Marines straighten out. That's the bio from SpeCial coming in at the front. The Widow Mines go down. Zealot's still pushing in. This bio army needs to join up, right? If this bio army sims up here right now and catches the Stalkers from the side, it's just stood here, though. I feel like this is a hugely missed opportunity, right? Because he's got so much, all the High Templar in the main. I really felt like that was the time for SpeCial to make that move. Obviously, again, easy for us to look at this position and say, oh, yeah, go, 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 but... yeah, it's moments like that you need to identify. Now he's got a couple of ghosts joining up. So SpeCial still has more attacks about to happen. He's got this clump of High Templar. That is EMP Central. He's going to go drop the High Templar with the ghost. It's the ghost EMP drop. Hits one. He hits 2. The High Templar nullified. Now this army comes into play. And suddenly there's no splash damage bar 1 Colossus. The Archon's not even getting much of a chance to morph in during this. Oh, SpeCial. That was a hell of a play. High Templar from the top side. Reinforcing here to bring some damage into this, but the bio on the bottom continues to do really well, and Trap just doesn't have the numbers. The Prism goes down. There are 3 Colossus still, but he's having to pull the probes, and that's not going to be enough as SpeCial runs in. SpeCial cleans up, and Trap is going to fall. That drop on top of the Templar, that EMP drop, giving the Protoss a taste of their own medicine. Great, quick play as well, right? He sees, he says, wait a second, I can shut that down, and SpeCial takes full advantage and takes the 2-1 victory in this series over Trap in the Douyu Cup to round out day 1.